This autumn harvest bundt cake is my newest original recipe. Made without eggs, milk, and butter, it's the perfect autumn treat. To make this autumn harvest bundt cake, you'll start with your basic cake ingredients. 3 cups of flour, 3/4 of a cup of white sugar, 3/4 of a cup of brown sugar, 1 teaspoon of salt, 2 teaspoons of baking soda, 1½ cups of water, and 3/4 of a cup of vegetable oil. You'll also need 1/2 cup of pumpkin puree, 1/2 cup of crushed pineapple, 1/2 cup each of grated sweet potato, zucchini, and carrots, 3/4 of a cup of golden raisins, 1 teaspoon of vanilla, 2 teaspoons of cinnamon, 1/2 teaspoon of ginger, 1/2 teaspoon of nutmeg, and 1 tablespoon of white vinegar. Before we get started, preheat your oven to 350 degrees, and in a large mixing bowl, start by adding your 3 cups of flour, 3/4 of a cup of brown sugar that's been packed, 3/4 of a cup of granulated sugar, 1 teaspoon of salt, 2 teaspoons of baking soda, and all of your spices, your ginger, your nutmeg, and your cinnamon. Using a whisk all these dry ingredients together until they're thoroughly mixed. Into our dry mixture, start with your golden raisins. You can use any raisins, but I like the golden raisins. Pumpkin, pineapple, and your grated carrots, zucchini, and sweet potato. Mix this all together, and then it'll be time to add the liquids. Just mixing the fruit and vegetables into the flour mixture before we add our liquid. Time to add our wet ingredients: 3/4 of a cup of vegetable oil, 1 teaspoon of vanilla, and I'm going to start with about 1 cup of water, and then I'll save the other half as I need it. Because the carrots and the zucchini and the pineapple, which although they've been drained, they still contain a lot of liquid. So reserve a little bit of your liquid and use your judgment on if you need it or not. As I'm mixing this all together, I can see that I don't need the entire 1½ cups of water. It was more like about 1¼ of a cup of water. All right, it's time to add that 1 tablespoon of vinegar, and this is your magic ingredient that activates the baking soda in this recipe, which is what leavens this cake. And as I start to mix it, you can see that it's starting to foam and activate. And this is when you need to move fairly quickly to get this cake in the oven. I have a prepared bundt pan sprayed with the vegetable spray and coated with flour. And now that all of the vinegar is incorporated, it's time to turn it into the bundt pan. Once your bundt pan is filled, I like to bake mine on a cookie sheet. Goes into a 350-degree oven for 45 to 55 minutes, depending on your oven. For your cream cheese glaze, you'll need about 1 cup of powdered sugar, 1 teaspoon of vanilla, 1 tablespoon of butter, 2 tablespoons of cream cheese, and enough milk to get the consistency that you're looking for. I've creamed together 1 tablespoon of butter and 2 tablespoons of cream cheese and 1 teaspoon of vanilla. And now it's time to start incorporating the powdered sugar until I get the right consistency. I've added powdered sugar and enough milk to get the glaze to where I want it. I'm looking for a glaze that will drizzle, not be too thick. This is a cream cheese glaze, so it will be a little thicker than most glazes, but this is right where I want it. Our beautiful cake is out of the oven and is cooled to room temperature. I've added the first layer of cream cheese icing, which looks beautiful, and now I'm just drizzling the cake with a maple brown sugar drizzle. My Autumn Harvest Bundt Cake, my newest original recipe, made without butter, milk, or eggs, is inspired by the season. It's sure to become a family favorite.